Let me tell you about a guy named Marcus. Marcus did everything right. Got his first real job at 24, opened a savings account, and every single paycheck he moved money in, $50 here, $100 there. Eventually $200 a month on autopilot. By 28, he had $11,000 saved. $11,000, that's not nothing. That took discipline. That took saying no to weekend trips and expensive dinners and that jacket he definitely didn't need. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Marcus opened his banking app one afternoon and did the math. $11,000 sitting there for 4 years, and his savings account had paid him $142 in interest total over 4 years. That's $35 a year. He makes more than that in an afternoon at work. And the worst part, while his savings account was quietly doing almost nothing, inflation was quietly doing something. Prices went up, his grocery bill went up, his rent went up. The actual buying power of that $11,000 was slowly getting smaller every single year. He wasn't building wealth, he was treading water, and the water was rising. Maybe that's where you are right now. You've been responsible, you've been disciplined, and yet something feels off, like you're doing the right things but still falling behind somehow. Here's the truth nobody tells you early enough. Saving money is not the same as building wealth. Saving is the foundation. It's not the house. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact mental shift and the practical steps that turn a saver into an investor. No confusing jargon, no get-rich schemes, no pretending this is easy when it's actually just simple. There's a difference, and that difference is going to matter a lot by the end of this. So let's start with the real reason most people never make this transition, because it's not what you think. Most people assume they haven't started investing because they don't have enough money yet, or they don't understand it well enough yet, or they're waiting for the right moment. The market is too high, the economy is too uncertain. Next year will be better, but none of that is the real reason. The real reason is fear dressed up as logic. Here's how it works. You open YouTube and search how to start investing. And within about 45 seconds, you've got someone telling you to buy Bitcoin, someone else warning you that Bitcoin is a scam, a guy in a Lamborghini explaining options trading, a finance professor explaining things with charts that look like they belong in a physics textbook, and 17 different people telling you 17 different things with complete confidence. So you close the tab, and you tell yourself you'll come back to it when you understand it better. But that day keeps getting pushed back, because every time you try to learn, the noise gets louder, and doing nothing starts to feel like the smart, cautious, responsible choice. Psychologists actually have a name for this. It's called analysis paralysis. And it's not a flaw in your character, it's a feature of your brain. Your brain is wired to avoid uncertainty. When you have too many options and too much conflicting information, your brain's default response is to freeze, to wait, to gather more information before acting. The problem is that in investing, waiting has a real cost. Every year you delay is a year of compounding you can never get back. There's also something called loss aversion. Studies consistently show that losing $100 feels roughly twice as painful as gaining $100 feels good. That's just how human brains are built. Which means the moment you imagine your investment dropping in value, your brain treats that potential loss like a crisis, even if it's temporary, even if it's completely normal. And savings accounts feel safe because the number never goes down. It just sits there, stable, predictable, comfortable. But that comfort is part of the trap. So how do you break out of it? You need a framework, not a complicated one you can actually remember and use. I call it the 3 floors. Think of your money like a building. Every dollar you earn needs to live somewhere. And the floor it belongs on depends on one question: when might you need this money and what do you need it to do? The ground floor is your protection money. This is your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of your actual living expenses sitting in a high-yield savings account, not a regular savings account that pays you almost nothing. A high-yield one? Right now, many of these are paying somewhere between 4 and 5% annually, which is actually meaningful. This money has one job: it keeps you from ever being forced to make a bad financial decision under pressure. Job loss, medical bill, car breakdown. This floor is what keeps you from having to sell your investments at the worst possible moment. If you don't have this floor fully built yet, stop, build it first, everything else depends on it. The second floor is your stability money. This is where you handle what I call toxic debt. high-interest credit card debt, anything above 6 or 7% interest. Because here's the math most people skip. If you have a credit card charging you 22% interest and you're putting money into investments hoping to earn 9 or 10%, you are losing money every single month. Paying off that debt is the highest guaranteed return you will ever find. No investment in the world can promise you 22%, but eliminating 22% interest debt gives you exactly that, guaranteed. So the second floor is clean, no toxic debt, your cash flow is yours. The third floor is your growth money. This is where investing lives. And once the first 2 floors are solid, this is where your focus shifts. Now here's where most people overthink it. Opening a brokerage account takes about 10 minutes. Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, any of them work. You create an account, connect your bank, and you're in. That's it. No test, no qualification, no minimum balance required to start. From there, you want to start with one thing, not a portfolio, not a strategy, one thing. A broad market index fund, something like a total stock market fund or an S&P 500 index fund. What this does is let you own tiny pieces of hundreds or thousands of American companies all at once. When one company struggles, it barely moves the needle because you own hundreds of others. When the overall economy grows over time, you grow with it. The fees are low, the strategy is simple. And historically, most professional fund managers don't beat it over long periods. You're not trying to be clever, you're trying to be consistent. Now pick a number, any number you can actually commit to every single month. It doesn't have to be impressive, it doesn't have to be a round number, could be $75, could be $200. The number matters less than the consistency. Then automate it, set it up so that on the same day every month that amount moves from your bank account into your investment account automatically, before you see it, before you can talk yourself out of it. That's it, that's the whole strategy for someone just starting. And I know what you're thinking, that feels too simple, like there must be something more to it. But simplicity is the point. Complexity is where people get stuck. Let me show you why consistency beats everything else. Imagine 2 people, both start at 25 with nothing. Person A waits. They want to learn more first. They want to wait until the market is less volatile. They want a bigger salary before they start. They start investing at 35 with $500 a month. Person B doesn't wait. They start at 25 with just $150 a month. They don't know much yet, they just start. By 65, assuming roughly 8% average annual growth, Person A has about $740,000. Person B, almost $860,000. Person B invested less money total, but they started 10 years earlier, and those 10 years of compounding made a $120,000 difference. Time is the ingredient that makes everything else work, and the only way to get time in the market is to be in the market. But here's the emotional part that math doesn't capture. Person B, sometime around age 40, has $60,000 or $70,000 in their investment account. That number didn't exist before. They built it from $150 a month, and something changes in them at that point. The fear fades, the habit is real, the goal feels possible, and they start increasing their contribution because it stopped feeling scary and started feeling powerful. That psychological shift is worth more than any specific investment strategy. Marcus, by the way, opened his first brokerage account 6 weeks after that afternoon when he did the math on his savings. He started with $100 a month, nothing fancy, just a total market index fund on autopilot. He told me later that the hardest part wasn't the money. It was the first time his account dropped 4% in a week and he had to stop himself from pulling everything out. He didn't, he just kept the automatic investment running. Now he barely checks it, because checking it less is actually part of the strategy. So here's where we land. The goal isn't to become a sophisticated investor overnight. The goal isn't to beat the market or find the next great stock or time your entry perfectly. The goal is to become the type of person who invests consistently, who treats their future self like someone worth building for. Saving money kept you safe. Investing is how you get free. Build the ground floor first, clean up the second floor, then plant something on the third floor and let it grow. Here's your challenge for the next 24 hours. Just one thing. Go open a high-yield savings account if you don't have one, or research one brokerage account if you don't have one yet. Don't invest anything today. Don't stress about the perfect choice, just open the door. Because the hardest part of becoming an investor isn't picking the right fund, it's deciding you're the kind of person who does this. You already saved money for years. That took discipline most people don't have. You've already proven you can do hard things. Now it's time to make your money do the hard work for you.